have to remain humble and know the people around you, your inner circle, and who you stay with. And
is cake something you enjoy? Post a 1 if you're keen on cakes. Post a 2 to inform me if you're not a fan of cakes but would still like to watch cookery shows. This is a fascinating video tailored specifically for you, regardless of whether you remarked 1 or 2. When it comes to cooking shows and reality TV, Buddy Valastro's name stands out. He is a famous pastry chef and host of Cake Boss. Please do not mistake him with anyone else. Viewers have been enthralled by the imaginative works of art that he and his team create at Carlo's Bakery in Hoboken, New Jersey, for many years. With its elaborate cakes and outsized personalities, Cake Boss has established itself as a beloved and esteemed institution in the baking community. Then again, Cake Boss is not a permanent fixture. So the old adage goes, can you tell me what might happen? I don't understand why this cherished character is starting to fade. We invite you to accompany us as we delve into the emergence and demise of Cake Boss. Beyond Hoboken, around the globe. Buddy Valastro, better known as the Cake Boss, is a famous American baker and television personality. He started out in a small bakery in Hoboken and worked his way up to become a household name by focusing on his family and working hard. Hoboken, New Jersey was the site of the March 3, 1977, birth of Bartolo Buddy Valastro Jr. He was one of 5 children born to the Valastro family. Bartolo Sr., Buddy's dad, opened Carlo's Bakery, a modest but respectable Italian bakery, famous for its delectable pastries and cakes. His father's commitment to creating outstanding pastries and Buddy's early exposure to the baking profession had an indelible impression on him. As a little boy, Buddy would spend countless hours at the family bakery, observing and learning from his father and other relatives who worked alongside him. He developed a passion for baking as he got older, and his skill for making delectable cakes was obvious. Despite his passion for baking, life is far from easy these days. When he was 17 years old, everything changed. Bartolo Sr., his father, passed away in 1994 from lung cancer, on both a personal and professional level. Losing his father was a devastating blow. Buddy was thrust into the spotlight and had to own up to his actions. Despite his youth and lack of expertise, he was thrust into the position of running the family bakery. This age was characterized by steep learning curves and enormous obstacles. During this critical period, Buddy's mother, Mary Valastro, played a pivotal role in supporting him. She was the glue that held the family together. And while he struggled to understand and solve the bread company's complex challenges, she became an invaluable source of strength and information. With Buddy at the helm, Carlo's Bakery began to evolve and expand. While carrying on the tradition of his family and bringing his creative vision to the business, he spared no effort. Thanks to Buddy's innovative cake recipes and designs, Carlo's Bakery became the go-to spot for cake lovers. A variety of cakes, from simple wedding cakes to elaborate specialty cakes and traditional Italian pastries, were among Buddy's earliest creations. Swiftly apparent in the bakery's production was his artistic sensibility and painstaking attention to detail. People from far and wide began flocking to Carlo's Bakery as word of their mouth-watering pastries and cakes spread like wildfire. No matter how good the pastries were, Carlo's Bakery in Hoboken was still just a bakery. What gave it its rise to prominence as one of the most renowned bakeries in the United States? What challenges did it face? Smash hit Cake Boss dominates TV. For Buddy Valastro, the tide turned in his baking career the moment a TV producer took notice of him. In 2009, Cake Boss premiered on TLC, a show that follows the day-to-day running of Carlo's Bakery. The show features Buddy's incredible cake-making and decorating skills and the challenges of running a family business. As soon as it premiered, Cake Boss became an instant hit. Viewers were captivated by Buddy's charisma, his unwavering dedication to his profession, and the love dynamic within the Valastro family. In addition to catapulting Buddy and Carlo's Bakery to fame, the show also garnered widespread media attention for cake decorating and the creative skills required. Cake artist Buddy became famous. Creative ideas combined with amazing precision describes his unconventional approach to cake decoration. Desserts that were both aesthetically pleasing and delicious were his specialty. His life-size cake sculptures and beautiful, Creative wedding cakes are among his most renowned works. Bud made imaginative creations that went beyond the norm for cake designs. He relished the opportunity to create unique cakes for special occasions, whether it was a grand wedding or a little birthday bash. His talent for turning any idea into a cake masterpiece earned him numerous accolades and a loyal following at the bakery. Buddy Valastro never wavered from his strong family principles, even as he rose to fame. The Carlo's bakery continued to be run by members of Buddy's family, including his brother-in-law, their sisters Lisa and Grace, and themselves. This strong emphasis on family was not merely a matter of tradition, it was an essential part of the bakery's personality. Whether at work or in his relationships with his family, wife Lisa Valastro and 4 kids, Buddy constantly emphasized the importance of family. In this respect, Cake Boss has an endearing quality. He was an example to many aspiring business entrepreneurs because of his dedication to his family and the seamless integration of his home and work lives. Countless remarkable incidents have transpired during the over a decade that Cake Boss has been airing. During the photo session, one of the most memorable things happened. A huge chandelier cake fell. The cake was so hefty that it started to topple over. At one point, Buddy and his team built a toilet out of real materials for a customer. The cake contained edible toilet water and made noises like flushing. For Halloween, Buddy and his team created a terrifyingly realistic zombie cake. There was rotting flesh, blood oozing from the cake's eye, and exposed organs. No, the thrills didn't stop there for these talented bakers. An earlier dish for a canine and feline companion was made by the same outfit. The cake featured a miniature wedding couple along with an extra animal bridal party. In an episode of Cake Boss exclusive, Buddy faced off against Duff Goldman in a cake baking competition. The 2 bakers' intricate cakes were judged by a panel of renowned chefs. Cake Boss was an exceptional program for many reasons, not the least of which were these specific aspects. The show's enormous success is due in part to Buddy Valastro's charisma. Invigorating and passionate, he never shied away from a task. Many interesting people, including Buddy's family and friends, appeared in the show. The program's ability to evoke strong emotions was a notable strength. In an episode following her passing in 2017, the program paid tribute to Buddy's mom. As a family, Buddy and his siblings reflected on their mother's impact and how she encouraged them to pursue their dreams. Buddy and his co-workers demonstrated their empathy and understanding to Cake Boss on multiple occasions. For instance, they baked cakes for the handicapped, the widowed, and others going through tough times. Additionally, they distributed cakes to charitable organizations that support important causes. Buddy and his team are master bakers. They make stunning desserts that make your mouth swim. The show's inclusive tone was a big reason why Cake Boss was a hit. Rules of decreasing return. Cake Boss. As Valastro's family appeal spread throughout the world, the program quickly expanded to include spin-offs, specials, and international versions such as Cake Boss, Buddy's Bakery Rescue, Next Great Baker, Kitchen Boss, and Cake Boss. People flocked from far and wide to try the delicious foods they had seen on TV, which led to an upsurge in sales at Carlo's Bakery. Buddy, Valastro, and Carlo's Bakery weren't limited to television. They also made appearances in other newspapers and magazines. Baking and lifestyle magazines featured their cakes on the cover, and Buddy was a popular talk show guest. Some viewers feel overwhelmed by Cake Boss's constant presence, which has now dominated the market. Familiarity breeds contempt, as the saying goes. Too much exposure turned off some viewers, even though they were initially attracted to Buddy's charisma and the bakery's delectable cake creations. Shortly after its debut, the show's novelty began to wear off, and viewers lost interest. It must have been difficult for Cake Boss to maintain its initial level of enthusiasm and viewership due to this excess. It became more clear that the performance was winding down. Cake Boss is just one more example of how bad press can ruin a TV show's reputation. The fact that Buddy Valastro paid his workers less than the federal minimum wage came to light in 2013. It was obviously illegal because the Fair Labor Standards Act requires all employers to pay their employees a minimum salary, despite the fact that the state of New Jersey's minimum wage was $8. $25 per hour at the time. His employees stated they were earning as little as $5 an hour. In addition, he was facing accusations of creating an unsafe work environment. Claiming to have fostered an intimidating and threatening work environment, employees claimed that Valastro verbally abused them. Additionally, it was alleged that Buddy inexplicably bullied his employees. He denied allegations that he paid his employees below minimum wages, saying that he had always paid them a fair wage. The accusations against him were baseless, and he vehemently denied making the environment hostile. The Department of Labor and Workforce Development reached a settlement with Buddy in 2014. As part of the settlement, he was required to pay back his employees' salaries and institute new policies that would ensure they were paid fairly and worked in a safe environment. Because of the false claims made against him, many of his supporters stopped tuning in to the show and stopped doing business with the company altogether. Cake Boss was overshadowed in 2014 due to Buddy's legal troubles, which garnered negative headlines. His arrest for driving under the influence received extensive media notice. A police officer in Manhattan, New York, pulled Buddy over after he was being driven erratically. After that, he was taken into custody for driving under the influence. The innocence and virtue of the Valastro family on Cake Boss were tarnished by the negative coverage of their arrest. In addition, transgender actress Carmen Carrera was the target of criticism after an incident on the show. In one episode, Carmen made her debut as the show's resident gender reveal cake hoax. A large number of onlookers and advocacy groups deemed the gathering to be transphobic. Many people felt the show and its host were being disrespectful and offensive by making fun of someone's gender identity. Ultimately, this controversy diminished the show's overall attractiveness and caused some viewers to question their loyalty to it. An employee who preferred to remain anonymous later in 2015 lodged a claim of workplace misconduct. The accusations leveled by the employee who was leaving were disturbing and serious. According to her, Buddy's inappropriate behavior, which included rude comments and gestures, created an unpleasant work environment. Lots of people were talking about this case, which made Buddy Valastro and Cake Boss even more hated in the media. The show's and Buddy's reputations took a major hit because of it. Dropping ratings was a major factor in the decision to cancel the TV show. In 2015, the long-running series began its inevitable drop in ratings. The most crucial thing is that people's TV watching habits altered and competition in reality TV intensified. People began to tune in to fresh shows that featured intriguing characters and fresh concepts. Cake Boss starting to look dated and out of touch with today's tastes. Cake Boss's ratings declined dramatically in 2015 and 2016 due to a confluence of factors. The program's decline in ratings made it quite clear that it was no longer a ratings behemoth. Ultimately, this led to the 2017 show being canceled. Members of the cast have gone on to pursue various passions and showcase their culinary and entertainment talents since the program ended. Whether it's expanding their bakery business or launching their television program, every member of the group has found their own unique way to thrive. What comes next? Cake Boss? Buddy Valastro is still actively working in the food industry today. His business has grown to encompass not only his New Jersey and Las Vegas bakeries, but also a restaurant and a range of culinary products. In 2018, Buddy V's Italian restaurant opened its doors to the Las Vegas community. At this eatery, you may get both classic Italian dishes and Buddy's unique creations, such as his lobster tail pastry. The television job that Buddy does has not changed. Bake Squad, airing on Discovery Plus, features him as the main character right now. He works with a team of expert bakers to help amateurs make the cakes of their dreams on this show. Plus, you can catch him on the Food Network as the host of Buddy V's Duff. On this show, he goes up against Duff Goldman, another pastry chef, in addition to his work in television and restaurants. He is the author of several cookbooks and other food-related publications. Get to know the performers. Buddy relies on Mauro Castano, who is also a pastry chef, for all of his assistants. His wife is Maddalena, who is Buddy's second oldest sister. She is his spouse. Still, he was born in Milan, Italy, and he left the country at the age of 7. He crossed into American territory on February 15, 1976. Bernalda, In the province of Basilicata is where his father was born, while his mother is from the Emilia-Romagna region of Reggio Emilia. There was a first date between him and Maddalena on September 16, 1989. They were married in October 1991 to Joseph Joey Fogno, the head baker at the bakery, and her father was the one who planned it all. Buddy weds Grace, who is his elder sister. She is his spouse. Robert and Bartolina are their namesakes, while Frankie Amato Jr. is a cake designer and one of their sons. In addition to being a father to two of his own children, he is Buddy's second cousin and Marco's godfather. Before Buddy was even born, Danny Dragni was already a long-term employee at the bakery, demonstrating his versatility as an employee. The family is very close to him, and his daughter Tatiana works in the bakery. The Mule is a common name for him because of his versatility. Grace Fogno is the firstborn sister of Buddy. Towards the end of the season, she does double duty as an assistant at the front desk, decorating and delivering special orders. Her spouse, Joey Fogno, is the head baker at the shop. He is her husband. The couple's offspring are Robert and Bartolina. By the way, Maddalena Castano is in charge of the front desk. Her marital status is irrelevant to Mauro. There are 4 kids born to them: Dominique, Bartolo, Buddy, and Mary. Their family includes 3 kids. Mary Chiarone is Buddy's 3rd eldest sister and a cake consultant by profession. She has 2 children, Joseph and Lucia, and she is married. Many incidents involving her inappropriate comments led to her dismissal from her post. These were detailed in the 5th season episode, Trash, Twirls, and Tough Love. Mary was rehired as a cake consultant just a few weeks after she was fired. In silly souse and surprise, she resumed her regular duties at the bakery. Lisa Valastro Buddy, nephew of Buddy, runs the store. At times, she is also responsible for billing. She currently has 3 children: Teresa Tessie Colgrove, John Colgrove, and Isabella Valastro. Remigio Remy Gonzalez, a baker, left the show early in its run after being arrested on sexual assault accusations. She was married to him at the time. In the 3rd season episode Mother's Day, Mama and Mom-to-be, the couple's daughter Isabella was born. The episode chronicles the happy occasion. A. Lisa and Remy Gonzalez, who were married. However, the couple has since separated. Remy was Remigio Buddy Gonzalez's former right-hand man. A girl called Isabella was born to Remy in the Cake Boss episode Mother's Day, Mama and Mom-to-be. This was Remy's first and only kid. His resignation from the program came after his arrest in August 2010 for suspected sexual assault. He received a 9-year term in state jail in May 2012 after pleading guilty to the allegation of sexually abusing a 13-year-old girl. It was widely expected that he would be transferred back to Mexico, his birth nation, upon his release. He was released from prison on April 10, 2018. Is Salvatore Salpicinic his exact name? The bakery hired him on January 30, 2011. Since he started working there in 1964, he has been one of Buddy's most trusted employees. Ficinic stopped making appearances on the show after he began fighting cancer at the end of 2009. But in the summer of 2010, in celebration of the bakery's centennial, he returned to pick up the Employee of the Century Award. He disappeared after dying on January 30, 2011. Sunny, Stephanie Fernandez, and herself, an expert in interior design at Carlos. According to Buddy Valastro, she was the first female employee to not work in sales. There had never been an employee like her before. Her departure was 9 months ago when she was hoping to finish her nursing degree. Before leaving to become a nurse, she appeared on the show's spin-off, Next Great Baker. Marisa Lopez, the show's winner, chose her to help build her American dream cake when she was on the show. Baker and Next Great Baker contestant Paul Conti was only able to make cameo appearances in a small number of episodes during the 3rd season. This was because he lost his job and his house in Hurricane Sandy. A supplier of baking goods eventually hired him after he had been unemployed for a while. Outside of the limelight, Buddy Valastro's private life. On October 14, 2001, Buddy and Elisabetta Lisa Valastro were married. Up until 2014, the Valastro family resided in East Hanover Township, New Jersey, where they brought up a number of children, including Carlo, Marco, Bartolo Buddy III, and Sophia. He has been a resident of Montville, New Jersey since 2014. He became known as Sergio Piccinch after his stepfather. His television series frequently features his 4 older sisters and their spouses. The actors who portray the spouses of the principal characters are Joey Fagno and Maddalena Castano, Joe Chiarone and Mary Fagno, and Lisa Valastro. Remy Gonzalez, who was married to Lisa for a while, left the program after his 2010 arrest for sexually assaulting a girl aged 13. The incident took place in 2012, and he was subsequently sentenced to 9 years in prison. Maurizio Belgiovin, who happens to be Carlo's brother-in-law, is in charge of operations at Carlo's bakery. He was taken into custody on November 13, 2014, for alleged drunk driving. He was also ordered to pay a $300 fine and have his driver's license suspended for 90 days. The incident occurred in September of 2020 at Valastro's home bowling alley. A pinsetter impaled his dominant right hand. He was rescued from the machine by his children and other relatives, who also saved his life. 2 emergency surgeries later, he had to go through a battery of additional procedures. He reported that he had regained about 95% of the strength in his hand in November 2023. Duff Goldman, played by Guy Vere, is perfect. At this very moment, there are numerous reasons for Cake CEO Buddy Valastro's admirers to be excited about. Recently, the baker behind Carlo's Bakery created Buddy V's Cake Slice, a virtual brand. By utilizing this feature, his devoted fans across the U.S. can now order one of his most beloved cakes and receive a freshly baked slice 30 minutes after the order is placed. Buddy gave Mashed an exclusive interview to celebrate the launch of the new brand, where he revealed more details about it. Naturally, he also filled Mashed in on Buddy V's Duff's final season and his relationship with his rival. They appear to be quite close, despite the fact that they are competing against each other for the Master Baker title in the baking competition. Buddy went into detail about how great of a connection they had upon first meeting. Duff and I are very close friends. He continued, I suppose the first season, which is ridiculous and people don't believe us, but we knew of each other. But we didn't know each other very well. He went on to say that he and his crew had become talented artists in the years since they started working together and that he had the utmost respect for them. Even with a positive outlook, trash talking does happen. A certain amount of our boyish side remains, so we can be somewhat rough with each other. Buddy cracked a joke about how it seems like we're merely 2 dudes playing a game of basketball. Buddy Valastro gets to see some of the cherished photos of his daughter Josephine that Duff Goldman takes and shares, which might be the most wonderful part of the whole thing. Occasionally, he allegedly texts me a picture of his beautiful and endearing daughter, according to Valastro. Furthermore, I will send her garments via regular mail, and they will send me a picture. After that, he went on to say, Oh, she's wearing Uncle Buddy's outfit today. Their bond is strong. The 2 famous bakers are still determined to beat Buddy and Duff in their baking competition, with Buddy perhaps being more driven than Duff. What a great guy. Let's be real, are we aiming to win? Yeah, I see. How much do I think he compliments my best qualities and that I compliment his best qualities? Indeed, he asserted. Despite my desire to prevail, I am not rooting for him to lose, if that makes sense. Does what I'm saying make sense to you? Plus, he mentioned it. The fact that he has Goldman as a friend makes him happy regardless of how fierce the competition gets. He kept in close contact with me after my accident and was among the first to text me after it happened. Furthermore, he emphasized that our connection is unparalleled. Duff Goldman, who is he? American entrepreneur, pastry chef, TV host, and author Jeffrey Adam Duff Goldman has had great success in many fields. In America, he entered this world on December 17, 1974. The Baltimore-based Charm City Cake Shop was a featured establishment on the Food Network's reality show Ace of Cakes. Charm City Cakes, west in Los Angeles, featured in the Food Network series Duff Till Dawn and Cake Masters, is owned and operated by him. He is also the head chef there. A few of the shows that have featured his work are Man v. Food, Buddy against Duff, Duff Takes the Cake, and Duff's Happy Fun Bake Time, Oprah, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Iron Chef America, The Food Network Challenge, and many more shows have featured his work. Goldman was born into a Jewish family in Detroit, Michigan. Goldman adopted the nickname Duff for himself when he was a young boy. His little brother, Willie Goldman, struggled to pronounce Jeffrey properly and kept saying Duffy instead. Even at the tender age of 4, his mother found him in the kitchen, holding a butcher cleaver, while he watched a chef who was a food personality tell a story. When Goldman was 10 years old, his parents divorced. He lived in Sandwich, Massachusetts, a town on Cape Cod, and also in Northern Virginia. Goldman played ice hockey for the McLean Highlanders in 1992 while attending McLean High School in McLean, Virginia. It was in 1993 that he earned his high school diploma from Sandwich. From the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC, he earned a bachelor's degree in East Asian history and a minor in ethics. Following that, he went on to study at the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone, which is located in Napa Valley, California, as well as the Corcoran College of Art. When he was 14 years old, he started working in kitchens. His first employment was at a bagel shop located in a shopping center. Aside from that, Goldman was employed at McDonald's as a fry cook. It has been said by Goldman that while he was a sophomore in college, he visited the restaurant Charleston in Baltimore, which he believed to be the best restaurant in the city of Baltimore. He submitted his application with the goal of working there as a cook. While Cindy Wolfe, the head chef, was reviewing his resume, she saw that he had experience that was not relevant to the position. On the other hand, Cindy did give him a position only in the production of cornbread and biscuits. This is the event that Goldman considers to be the defining moment of his professional life. During his time in California, he gained experience working under renowned chefs, including a stagiaire job at the French Laundry and a post as the executive pastry chef at the Vail Cascade Hotel in that state. He went back to Washington, District of Columbia, to take a job at Olive's Baking Bread, which is that of Todd English. Goldman began his ventures into the culinary sector in 2002 when he opened his own bakery, which he named Charm City Cakes. This was the beginning of his entrepreneurial endeavors. With the assistance of 2 workers that he hired, he first started selling cakes from his home in Charles Village, which is located in Baltimore, Maryland. He did this with the assistance of his employees. In response to the growing demand for his bakery, he expanded his workforce by recruiting artists, architects, and sculptors to work on the growth and expansion of his business. For the purpose of assisting in the creation of the underlying supports of cakes, Charm City Cakes usually makes use of blowtorches in addition to power instruments such as grinders and drill presses. During the second inaugural ball that former President Barack Obama attended in 2013, Goldman was responsible for making cakes for him. The novelist Tom Clancy, the actors of Lost, the cast of 30 Rock, together with an actor who plays a cake prop, Sir Roger Moore, and for the birthday video of the pop singer Katy Perry in the year 2022. During the 7th season of The Masked Singer, Goldman presented himself as McTerrier, a member of Team Good, following the Loverboys, working for the weekend performance. McTerrier's mask was inadvertently removed, and he had to cover his head as the panelists covered their eyes. This continued until a member of the staff had to rush out and replace the mask. His elimination came first in the competition. A few of the culinary events that are shown on Food Network include the Holiday Baking Championship, the Spring Baking Championship, and the Kids Baking Championship. Goldman serves as a judge for these competitions, alongside Valerie Bertinelli. He is the co-host of the most recent program. His most notable appearance on Guy's Grocery Games was in Season 25, Episode 18, episode titled Delivery All-Star Hanukkah. In this episode, he competed against Aaron May and Eric Greenspan, and the judges were Antonio Lofaso, Catherine McCord, and Jonathan Waxman. All of the judges are of Jewish descent, with the exception of Miss McCord, whose husband is Jewish. Goldman has been residing in Los Angeles, California, since the year 2021. In a band that performed indie rock, he was the bass guitarist. In subsequent years, he became the bass player for the band Foie Gras, which was a pun on the combination of rock and roll and foie gras. In his alternative dream career, he would want to be a bass player for the band Clutch. He says this would be his ideal employment. Neil Fallon, the main vocalist of Clutch, has commissioned Goldman to create a wedding cake for him. In addition, Mary Alice Fallon Yeska, who is Fallon's younger sister and a friend of Goldman's from college, is employed at Charm City Cakes in the capacity of office manager. He is of Jewish descent. Currently, he is engaged in tzedakah. It was during an interview with Hillel, the Foundation for Jewish Campus Life, when Goldman expressed his belief that tzedakah had a significant place in his heart. As a result of all that has transpired in my life, I have been very lucky. Not giving anything back would be a serious offense. There was a proposal made by Goldman to Jana Colbury on April 2, 2018, and he ultimately married her. At Cornell University on September 25, 2019, Goldman gave a speech in which he discussed the significance of Jewish identity and tzedakah in his life from his perspective. We appreciate you watching. It is imperative that you subscribe to our channel and watch one of our other captivating films.